This is one of the most heated debates I think I've seen on the internet. Both sides are almost constantly arguing with each other. Like, the second that they see the opportunity to talk bad about one another, they're 100% going to go for it. And much like my last video on console wars, the same rule applies here. Both items do the same thing. It really just comes to personal preference, but a lot of people can't sit right with that fact that it's all personal preference. I promise you right now, if you go to any tech subreddit and mention the fact that you like iPhone better than Android, oh, you are 100% going to regret that, because for the next 2 weeks, these people are not going to stop pestering you and making fun of you for being inept about your technology. They're out here talking about the technical specs of everything, and by the time you realize the can of worms that you've opened, yeah, there's no closing it back up. Because now they're out here talking about the inner electromagnetic functions of an Android phone. Like, yo, dude, I just want something that can let me watch YouTube. That being said, though, Apple users are just as bad. Dude, I'm convinced 99% of Apple users just think that they're better than everybody else who walks on this planet. Like, when you start a conversation with somebody who's an Apple user and they find out that you're an Android, yeah, there's a big chance you're gonna just end up getting blocked. The members of the iPhone Society could never put up with such plebeians who own an Android phone. Like, yo, dude, they literally do the exact same thing. As long as they can text and call my friends, I don't care. Oh, but don't you ever tell that to an Apple user, because you know what? If you don't have an iPhone, for some reason, they just think that you're poor and have no money, which just isn't true. Now, when I was younger, I didn't have a phone until I was a teenager, so my first mobile device was an Android, and that device was a tablet. I remember when I first got a tablet, I was so excited because I was finally able to play mobile games, you know, things like Angry Birds, Temple Run, My Singing Monsters, Clash of Clans. I could play pretty much all of it. It was just so mind-boggling to me that I could search up literally anything I wanted, all at my fingertips. I could explore throughout the entire world if I really wanted to, from my bed, in pajama pants that is. And although I did get a lot of positive things out of it, a big one being watching YouTubers from pretty much wherever I wanted in the house instead of only being able to sit down in front of the TV. But it was not all positives, because there's a lot of weird shit on the internet that I was most definitely too young to see, and I bet I'm not alone when it comes to that sentiment. I feel like a lot of other people share the same feelings about that. But then on one gloomy, rainy Sunday morning, I don't know if it was actually Sunday, my tablet broke. I remember getting up one day and going to turn it on, and it just didn't turn on. It wouldn't charge. It wouldn't work. It just seemed to fully die on me, and I was devastated. Luckily, I ended up breaking it around December, and that Christmas, I ended up getting a new tablet from my uncle. Now, coming this time around, I didn't end up getting no Acer tablet. Oh, no, you imbecile. You truly think I would get Acer twice? No. I got an Amazon Fire tablet, and this thing was, Dude, this thing was so much better than the Acer. I don't know if it's just the fact that I hadn't had a tablet in a whopping 2.5 weeks. So my memory was almost foggy just wanting to get my hands on an electronic device again. But no, this thing was really good. I remember the image specifically looked so much clearer. When I was watching YouTube videos, the speakers just sounded a lot better. The screen was also bigger, and it was so much faster. This thing ran like a computer. Okay, now that I have a real computer, maybe I think otherwise, but still, it was really good. Eventually, I grew up, and I ended up getting a phone, and it was my dad's old phone. So I was around 12, 13 at this point, and my first phone was a Motorola Moto G4 Play. Hey, shout out that phone. That thing was awesome. I went to school with it. I was able to send Snapchats to my crush with it. I felt like I was on top of the world. And then, you know, I eventually asked for her number, and then you know what happened next. She never spoke to me again because my text bubbles were green. I upgraded even further to a Google Pixel 1. It was, again, my dad's old phone. And, you know, I loved using this Google Pixel. It had an orange case with the Android guy on the back. I'm probably putting a picture up on screen right now. But hey, bro, when I pulled up to school with that phone case, you know, everybody was complimenting me. Nobody was. They called me a loser who had an Android phone. But moral of the story is I wasn't afraid to be who I truly was. And neither should you. That was so cringe. And that is where my Android journey ends. I did eventually fall to societal pressure and end up getting an iPhone. It sounds so stupid, but I didn't really switch to iPhone because I wanted to. I just switched to it because everybody was telling me to, and because I thought it would make me fit in better. At this point, I was like 14. So, you know, this is when your emotions are all over the place, and anything that anybody says for some reason really sticks to you. And instead of taking my dad's old phone, which would have been a Google Pixel 3, I ended up downgrading to an iPhone SE, which the screen was significantly smaller, the battery itself was significantly worse, and there's no longer Google, only this Compass thing. Bro, where is Google? Just let me look something up. Now, before I talk about my iPhone expeditions, what did I think about Android? I'm going to be honest, dude, I loved Android, and I still do to this day. People are right. It does have a lot more customizability. Is that even a word? Yeah, customizability. When you buy an Android phone, or you have one in your possession, or an Android device for that matter, it very much feels like it's yours, and you can do really whatever you want with it, and there's very little drawback or limits to what you're allowed to do. You want to go online and find a way to download Fortnite on your Android phone? Go ahead, you have the freedom to do so. But on iPhone, you gotta actually jailbreak it and go through a bunch of these other hoops. Android also had a built-in antivirus, which made me feel like I could click any link without consequence. Guys, don't have that mindset. It's a horrible decision. But Android did also have some cons, like the camera quality. Why is every single camera on Android horrible? Bro, especially on Snapchat. Have you any idea the amount of pain of when my crush would send me a picture, and then I would be all excited to reply back, and it would send in like 360p? Like, bro, she would think I was straight up on the moon or something. It got me so angry all the time. And bro, everyone would make fun of me for it too. Honestly, let's be realistic here. I can't really blame anybody because, for real, my camera looked like I was taking a picture with a microwave. Now, my first Android was an iPhone SE. Not like the new one, like the first one, the tiny one. And bro, if iPhone 7 at the time was considered ancient, just take a look at my thing that was the size of an iPhone 5. The big upgrade was the iPhone 6. So I used the iPhone 6 for about 2 years, and when I was about 15, I got my first job, which then gave me my first money to actually buy a phone plan. And the first phone that I bought was an iPhone 11. I took care of this baby like no tomorrow. I loved my iPhone 11. I went from jumping to something that was used basically in the prehistoric period to a relatively new phone. I had my iPhone 11 for just a little bit under 2 years. Now, notice how I'm using past tense. I dropped my iPhone 11 and it landed on the concrete, and then it just suddenly turned off, and it has never turned on again. And with my iPhone 11 went all my pictures and a bunch of other things. So then I was phoneless for a little bit, and about 2 months later, I ended up getting the phone that I have today, which is an iPhone 13 Pro Max. I got it off Facebook Marketplace for really cheap. I paid around 500 US for it. Bro, this thing was practically brand new. So what do I think of Apple? I'm honestly a big fan of Apple. I love the iOS interface. I love the feelings of the phone. They just feel a lot more premium than Android. Android just has that cheap feel. I don't know how to explain it. My text bubbles aren't green anymore. The screens and speaker to me are a lot better than Android. And the camera quality. Don't even get me started on the camera quality. It's amazing. I also love Face ID. I don't think that was a thing on Android, at least at the time. But the cons. Let's look at the cons of Apple. Why is this so expensive? Good God. Brother, 2 bands for a phone? And then when you drop it on the floor, it's gonna shatter into a million pieces? And then if you want to get it replaced, it's gonna cost you like another $400? Like, bro, what the hell? Dude, there's like no winning with Apple. No matter what, you're always going to have to pay a ludicrous amount of money. Ludicrous? Good God. Now, honestly, I think in the future, I'm going to stick with Apple just because I'm already too deep into it. I'm going to be honest, I was thinking of switching to Android, but then I got AirPod AirPod Maxes and AirPod Pros, and at this point, I'm already too far deep in, and I really like the quality of Apple products too. They feel premium. But at the end of the day, it is totally up to you. It is personal preference and whatever you prefer. Don't bully others for what they want to choose. That's stupid. Anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Comment whether you're Apple or Android.